The sky was the color of stone the day my ambition died quietly. Wendy watched Elaine's practiced indifference from across the immaculate desk. 5 years of her life, of missed weekends, silent birthdays, and 1,000 small surrenders, were bound into a portfolio now set aside with a flick of a manicured hand. Adequate, Elaine said, the word a tombstone for Wendy's hopes. The smile Wendy offered was a perfect, polished shield. I understand. Thank you for the feedback. Later, in her car, Wendy stared at her reflection. The woman in the glass was not grieving. She was cold, clear, and utterly resolved. She made 2 silent vows. The vacation was cancelled, and the meticulous guide she wrote each day, the invisible threads holding the entire department together, would cease. Their perfect system was about to meet the architect of its stability, and find her gone. My name is Amelia Carlton, and I was the ghost in the machine at Meridian Solutions. I wasn't the loudest voice in the room. I was the one who knew how every room was built. When chaos had reigned 5 years prior, I became the company's silent archivist. I documented, organized, and systematized everything. My boss, Elaine, floated above it all, buoyed by my unseen labor. The morning after the rejection, I arrived at 9 a.m. sharp. No early briefing notes. No preemptive firefighting. When the first crisis erupted, a scheduling conflict with the Lawford account, I simply directed it to the appropriate department. But you always handle this, Peter from accounts stammered. I'm focusing on my assigned responsibilities, I said, my smile serene. I'm learning my proper place. By evening, my work phone was a silent brick. At home, I baked cookies with my daughter, Elena. Her laughter was a balm I hadn't realized I was starving for. Mom, why are you home early? Because my time is valuable, I said, meaning every word. And I choose to spend it with you. The unraveling was swift. The next day, the Ellison account, our biggest client, built on my knowledge, teetered on collapse. Elaine appeared at my desk, a barely concealed panic beneath her crisp blazer. The process notes, Amelia. Where are they? In the shared drive, I said pleasantly, pulling up a 200-page master document. It's all there. She stared at the digital labyrinth, a stranger in a city I had built. Can't you just handle it? I have the compliance review, I replied. But I can start on Ellison tomorrow. The silence that followed was the sound of a foundation cracking. Within 48 hours, the department was a symphony of distress calls I chose not to hear. I took Elena to the park. I slept through the night. The machine, denied its ghost, was grinding to a halt. The emergency meeting was called by Byron Wallace, the regional director. Relief washed over his face when I entered. Amelia, thank God. What will it take to fix this? Elaine's jaw was tight. The promotion is yours. I placed a folder on the table. That's generous. But I've been offered a senior role elsewhere. They seem to think I'm qualified. The air left the room. Byron's eyes widened. Elaine's turned to flint. Name your price, Byron said. It's not about price, I replied. It's about value. Recognition. Respect. I followed Byron to his office, where he offered me a new reality, Director of Operational Systems, reporting directly to him, with double the salary and the authority I had earned. I'll need the weekend, I told him. That weekend I didn't plot vengeance. I walked with my daughter. I thought about legacy. I realized I didn't want to burn the castle down. I wanted to rebuild it so no one else would get lost in its dungeons. On Monday, I gave Byron my answer. I accept. With 2 conditions. I build my own team. And Elaine stays in her role. He was stunned. Why? Because this isn't about her fall, I said. It's about a better way to rise. The months that followed were a quiet revolution. I built a team from the overlooked and the undervalued, the brilliant analyst stuck in IT, the strategic mind buried in admin work. We streamlined chaos into clarity. Elaine and I forged a tense, respectful truce. Freed from operations she never understood, she thrived in client relations. 6 months later, Leaving at 5 p.m. was still my ritual. Elena was at the kitchen table. How was work, Mom? Good. We launched a new training program. 25 people get a chance they wouldn't have had before. Like you didn't get, she said, wisdom in her young eyes. Yes, sweetheart. Exactly like that. That night, a text from Byron glowed on my phone. Board approved your VP promotion. Unanimous. Elaine gave the strongest recommendation. I set the phone down. The corner office was mine, but the victory was elsewhere. It was in the streamlined processes, the rising satisfaction scores, the expanded Ellison contract. It was in Elena's homework spread across the table, and my presence to see it. The most powerful response to being underestimated is not to prove them wrong. It is to build a world where talent can no longer be ignored. To take the pain of being invisible and use it to make others seen. Your worth is not determined by another's blindness. It is defined by the shadow your light casts, whether they choose to acknowledge it or not. Stop waiting for permission to shine. Architect your own recognition. The world adjusts itself around those who know their own value, and build bridges for others to cross. That is the only revenge that matters. That is the past quest.